Hey guys, Andrew here again, coming at you with another top 10 video, and as you see by the title screen, this week I'm going to do snow horror flicks. I was debating on a couple. Actually going to have probably next week, just like before I get into my video, next week I'm probably going to have a video with my brother. I'll be back in Pennsylvania, and I will be probably doing a top list of Wes Craven films. Wes Craven's my favorite director. My brother likes him as well. So we'll probably be doing that list next week. So yeah, with that being, I was going to do that this week, but then I changed my mind, wanted to do that next week. So gonna do snow horror flicks. I realize it's kind of late in the game. It's early March. But I still think we got another like 3 weeks left where it might be snowing up here in the north. So yeah, without further ado, I'm gonna do snow horror flicks. Coming out at number 10, Mama. You actually probably don't think of this as like a snow horror flick. But if you look at it closely, like the first, at least the first half of this film, I think, and then a little bit scattered in the second half, it has snow in it. It's not snow per se, but I wanted this to be on the list, one, because I didn't put it, I only put one Christmas horror film on the list of snow, just because it's kind of cheating. But yeah, I love this film. It kind of is like a bedtime story, kind of. It starts off with like Once Upon a Time. It's really beautifully shot. I really like the way this is filmed. It does have a lot of jump scares in it, but in this film, I think it works because the jump scares are earned in this movie. It's not just like cheap scares. They really are well earned. So yeah, this one here, this was go on my number 10. I haven't, kind of a spoiler, what would probably go as my number 10 would probably be Frozen. I have not seen it yet. So when I see it and when I buy it, I will let you know my thoughts on it, and probably if it would overtake Mama. I am assuming it probably would, because it's more of a snow flick anyways. Also, there's another one I'll say later, but yeah. Number 9, Mothman Prophecies. This one you don't hear anything about. I've not heard anybody really talk about this recently. This is really under the radar. I love this. I remember seeing this. I remember me and my dad rented this on VHS in the early 2000s at our Hollywood Video. And this really, really is unsettling. Like, it's got this really creepy atmosphere, and it just really works. Like, it takes place in Point Pleasant, West Virginia, which is like I think an hour away from where I live in Pennsylvania. So it's kind of close to home. Plus, like, I recognize, like, I know a little bit more about the Mothman mythology and stuff. Whether you believe these are actual events or not, it's kind of up to you, but like the stories are still unsettling nonetheless. And Richard Gere probably has his best performance in this film. That was number 9. Number 8, We Are Still Here. It's actually from 2015. I really loved this film. It's 83 minutes long. It's got great acting. The cinematography is really good. I really love the setting of this house. If you can see it here, it's like this like really smaller kind of New England house, kind of like out in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of, it reminds me of an episode of A Haunting, to be honest with you, except for with blood and gore. And it just really, really works. It's set, it just, the snow adds so much to this movie. I honestly don't think it would be the same without the snow. It kind of gives you that kind of like claustrophobic feel a little bit. But yeah, once you find out like about the haunting and stuff, and you kind of get these like real life ghosts instead of just like invisible ghosts, it just really works. Like, it's more of a fast-paced haunted house movie, and the second half really, really worked for me. It was definitely a change of pace for a haunted house movie, and so I really liked it. Number 7, Orphan. Now, I really went back and forth with this and my number 6, but I really love this movie. The snow, again, adds so much to this movie. it kind of gives you that sort of claustrophobic feeling, and like it's shot really beautifully. And I mean, I know most of you've probably seen this before. It's also a movie that I don't really hear a lot about. And I mean, the whole movie, you're just kind of unsettled. You don't know what's going on. You don't know where this is going to go. So yeah, this one really works. Yeah, I mean, the only things that kind of take away from this movie is the CGI and some of the special effects in this film. Really take away. I really like it. Some of it you kind of have to like forgive. Yeah, but it could have used a little bit more practical effects, in my opinion. That was number 7. Number 6, Let Me In. Now again, if you've seen my Blu-ray collection video, I have only seen Let the Right One In once, and I don't own it. This, in my opinion, I like the cinematography a little bit better, and if you want to know why, I explained it in that video, but I think it's a little more intimate. I think that this is just a haunting movie. Like, it's so beautifully shot. The score is beautiful. Yeah, it's just all around works for me. I find that the people that have watched this version first have more respect for it than the people who watched Let the Right One In first, then watched this. They're very similar movies, almost shot for shot, a little bit different. I kind of like the changes that they made in this one. Make a little bit more sense for an American setting. So yeah, I mean, it really works for me. That was number 6. Number 5 may surprise some of you. Debated about this too with Let Me In, but Shredder. Now this was number 9 on Moods' list, but this is such a fun time. Basically, snowboarders go up to this abandoned snow resort, and they're getting picked off one by this killer, and this movie is such a fun time. Like, it is just great. Like, it reminds you of an late 80s slasher film, and it just... the more I rewatch this, the more I just want to watch it. It's just got this like really fun style. The acting is so bad. The cinematography is bad. You can tell this is shot with a low budget, but it still works for me. I bought this for really cheap. You can get this really cheap on Amazon. I highly recommend it. That was number 5. Number 4, again, may surprise some people. The 2011 The Thing. The more I watch this, the more I really enjoy this. I'm floored by it. I don't honestly think they could have done anything more with this. Again, some of the complaints about this, very valid. Like it could have used some more practical effects. But if you watch the commentary of this movie, they said John Carpenter had a lot more time to film his movie. They had a lot more time to plan out the practical effects, and they just didn't have the time. Like, the way that films are shot nowadays, they just don't have time to film in practical effects, so a lot more is in CG. But again, they use practical effects where it was necessary, and it really works. I love the characters in this movie. The atmosphere is great. It sometimes uses jump scares a little too much, but again, I think this does a great service to John Carpenter's 82. Yeah, that was number 4. Number 3, speaking of John Carpenter's The Thing, number 3, John Carpenter's The Thing. I think this is one of the greatest horror films of all time, not just snow horror films. Yeah, this is just phenomenal. It's got this really interesting and unique atmosphere. I don't know how to describe it, but John Carpenter is the only person I feel that could have done this with great service. Just beautifully shot. Yeah, I mean, great practical effects. Keeps you guessing the whole movie. Yeah, I mean, this has been talked about to death, so yeah, that was number 3. These last 3 have been talked about to death endlessly, but yeah, number 2, The Shining. Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. Honestly, I keep, every time I go a long time without watching it, I think, nah, maybe it's not as good as what I thought it was, and then I rewatch it and I'm like, yeah, that was actually as good as what everybody says it is. I mean, it just has this great atmosphere. I know that they changed a lot about Stephen King's book, but I don't care. It's still like just phenomenally shot, phenomenally written. It's a Stanley Kubrick movie through and through. I love it. I could not recommend it more if you haven't seen it. I mean, it's been talked about to death, but yeah, that was number 2. Number 1, my only Christmas horror movie, and I cheated a little bit, but number 1, Black Christmas. This is probably one of my brother's favorite Christmas movies, probably snow movies too, but yeah, this is just a perfectly atmospheric movie. Bob Clark did such a good job at directing this. I really wish he would have done a couple more horror movies. The Margot Kidder, Olivia Hussey. I mean, the cast is really good. Oh, man, I can't. John Saxon is his name. He's in Nightmare on Elm Street and Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and New Nightmare. This has such a good cast, such good acting. The atmosphere is great. It's got this like really slow moving, like just like it's a proto slasher before slashers, before John Carpenter's Halloween. It just works. Very slow moving movie, which I really love slow moving movies. And for some reason, this and Halloween are very slow, but I could watch them over and over again. And I watch this at least 3 to 4 times every Halloween, or Christmas time, sorry. And it just like gets you in that mood. Like every Christmas Eve, this is my movie to watch. Christmas is Silent Night, but like Christmas Eve, definitely this movie. Highly recommended. Is really good movie. It's actually pretty fun too, to be honest. It's got some good humor. So yeah, that was my top 10 list. Please let me know what you think. Appreciate all your comments. I'll try to respond to you whenever I can. Thanks for tuning into my videos. So thanks again. Again, next week it'll be Wes Craven coming at you with my brother. It'll be a longer video, but yeah, this ought to be a fun one to see. Please check it out. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. Have a good week.